Hi everybody and welcome back to the Crumbs and Doilies Bakery, where we're still not getting to bake many cakes these days, but as you can see we are really busy boxing up all our cookie and cupcake kits, and we've just finished boxing up our brand new cupcake kit, and I can't wait to share it with you guys because you love this stuff and I don't know why you wouldn't love it, because Biscoff is just the best thing in the world. So we have put together a Biscoff cupcake kit, and inside it's so exciting. Are you ready to see this? So we have got, as usual, instructions, cupcake cases. It's pretty important for a cupcake, right? And then we've got crumbs, because we're gonna make a Biscoff biscuit base for our cupcakes. We've got a little pot of Biscoff Spread, which is the best thing in the world. And also, of course, we've got the icing sugar mix, the cake mix, along with some Biscoff biscuits to decorate our cupcakes. And you might be thinking, why is there a bit of grease-proof paper in here? That's because we're gonna make some piping bags later. So we have literally got all the stuff that you need. So I'm gonna walk you through this. It's really easy. And we're gonna start by making our Biscoff base. So first of all, you need to line your cupcake tin with the paper cases. So now we can start baking. And whilst I just put my gloves on, I'll just say that if you don't have the kit or you don't want to buy the kit, that is absolutely fine. Do not worry. I'm going to put the full quantities for the recipe in the description box below, so you can still bake along with us. Right, so what we need to do is mix our crumbs with a little bit of butter. So we're going to empty our bag of crumbs into a bowl here, and then I've melted 20 grams of butter, unsalted butter, but salted will be fine as well. I'm going to pour this in and give it a good stir till it's that wet sand consistency, which basically means you can push it together and it holds its shape, but it's not so wet that it's really kind of oily and too moist. Now we just need to get this into our cupcake cases. So I'm using a tablespoon measure because I find that's a really good kind of indication of how much I want in it, but you just want to evenly divide it. And now I've got a little bit of crumbs left, so I'm just going to make sure that they're nice and even, and then we need to compact these down into the bottom of the case so that they are a nice layer. I'm going to use this really nifty rolling pin, but you could just use the back of a spoon. You could even get your finger in there. So just bash it down and make it nice and compact. Once those are ready, we can start making our cupcake batter. So you need to empty in your bag of cake mix first. So in here we've got all the sugars, the flours, raising agent. So you'll see there's a little bit of dark brown sugar in there, which really adds to the kind of caramelliness of our Biscoff cupcakes. And then we need to add some butter. So 125 grams of really soft butter. You can see here it's nice and spreadable. That means it's going to whip up nicely. So dump that straight in with your mix. And now we're going to add 2 large free-range eggs. Now we're going to whip that up for about 30 seconds until it's nice and incorporated on a kind of medium to high speed. So at this stage, I'm just going to stop my mixer and give it a little scrape, because this is such a small amount of batter, and bits of butter and flour and stuff can sort of get stuck to the sides and the edges. So it's always a good idea to give it a scrape. Now I'm just going to turn my mixer onto the low speed, and we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of milk. So once it's had another 30 seconds, your batter will be done. So it is so easy, this all-in-one method. It takes about a minute in total. So now we can get on with dividing it between our cupcake cases on top of our biscuit bases. So I've got 2 spoons here, but you can do this with a piping bag or an ice cream scoop. I just do this the old school way. This is how Gemma taught me. So now all we need to do is bake these. So I've got my oven preheated to 170 degrees C, and we're going to put them in for 19 minutes. Right, so let's get on and make our Biscoff Buttercream. And as always, we're starting with nice soft butter, and we're gonna add 200 grams of that to our mixer. And we're gonna whip that for about 5 minutes on a nice high speed until it's nice and white in color. You might want to stop and scrape it halfway through if it looks like it's just kind of splashing up the sides of your bowl. Okay, so now let's start adding some icing sugar, and we're going to do this in 2 stages because that gives it more chance to incorporate more air so that we end up with a really nice airy whippy icing rather than a stodgy waxy thing. So open up your icing sugar bag and we're putting it through a sift. So always sift your icing sugar so that you don't get lumps or grains in there. All right, so just push those last little bits through with my spoon, and then we're going to get this mixing again. Obviously start on a low speed because otherwise the icing sugar is going to go everywhere, and then we'll turn it up nice and high for another 2 or 3 minutes before we add the rest of the sugar. Okay, so now is the fun part. We get to add our Biscoff Spread, which we lovingly put into all these little tubs for you guys. So I'm actually gonna take out a couple of spoonfuls because I'm gonna use this later for a drizzle and a filling as well. And then the rest I'm gonna add straight into my icing. And try really hard to not just lick this off the spoon. I promise the icing's gonna be worth it. So we're just going to whip that up again just to incorporate it, and then we'll see if we want to add some liquid to get the right consistency. Okay, so I think I am going to, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of milk here because it's just feeling a little bit stiff, and it's also going to make it go a bit smoother, a little bit less kind of grainy looking. Now we're talking. This looks amazing. Look at that. It's so smooth and it smells so good, and I really want to eat it. But my cupcakes have come out of the oven and they need to cool down a little bit longer. So I'm gonna have a clear up, and then we'll get ourselves ready for filling, decorating, drizzling, and eating. Okay, so if you're gonna go all out, like I think you should, then we're gonna fill these with a little Biscoff cream filling. So first of all, we need to cut some holes into our cupcakes, and the ultimate tool for this is an apple corer. But you could use a spoon, or someone mentioned in a previous video that you can use the end of a piping nozzle, which I think is a really great tip. So let's cut a hole in all of our cupcakes. All right, so in this bowl, I've got about 100 mils, so 80 to 100 mils will do, of double cream, and I'm gonna add just about a teaspoonful, I mean, you can add as much of this as you like, of Biscoff Spread into that, and then we're gonna whip it up to soft peaks. Okay, so it doesn't take very long at all because it's got the Biscoff Spread in there. And now we need to put it in a piping bag. If you've got a piping bag at home, then great. But if not, don't worry. That is why we've included the greaseproof paper in the kit so that you can make your own. And I've done a little video for you which explains how to do this in quite a lot of depth. So I'll put a link to that in the description box below. And do make sure that you subscribe to our channel and click on the little bell next to the subscribe to make sure that you get notifications, because we're always posting extra little videos here and there. Right, so I'm going to get my cream in my piping bag and fill my cupcakes. perfect amount of cream there. And next up, it's decorating time. So I've put my Biscoff Buttercream into a nice large piping bag, available at CupcakeJemma.com. And I've got a star nozzle, but you can go for a round nozzle or a rose nozzle, whatever you like.
Say you should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time for your feelings.
And now with the last of my Biscoff spread, I've put it in another little piping bag so that we can give it a drizzle. My top tip here is to fold the end of your piping bag over like this, otherwise it just comes out the other end and you'll get in an awful mess. So let me just snip the end off. Here we go.
And everyone can see your anger is misplaced, and I'm gonna tell you, don't hate me 'cause I get attention. Don't turn me into what I'm not. I have to be me 24/7, and I ain't never gonna stop. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
And last but by no means least, we're gonna top it off with half a cookie.
No, and I ain't never gonna stop. Come on, listen to me. I've tried so many times.
Okay,
to tell
let's
you.
take a look at one of these. Look, it looks so beautiful, but wait. Oh, look at this. So much going on. Have I got it on my nose? No? Okay, great. That's so nice. You get the kind of crunch from the biscuit base, the soft sponge, the lovely cream inside that you can see. And then, I mean, do I even need to talk about the icing? It's the best icing in the world, honestly. Oh, I'm just gonna do one more. You are gonna love this. So, please head over to CupcakeJemma.com, get yourself one. We've got the cookies and cream kit as well, which we did a video for a couple of weeks ago, so I'll put that in the description box below as well. So have a great time baking these at home, and we'll be back next week with a salted caramel cake because you guys have been requesting it after our lemon meringue cake that we made a few weeks ago. Keep tagging us on Instagram, #CupcakeJemma. I'm Sally Dowds, and of course tag Gemma so she can see all your creations at home while she's with her little baby girl. So we will see you next week.
I ain't never gonna stop now, me.